And the fact of the matter is, you're heating your home and cooling your home and heating your water are the two biggest loads to your electric bill. They cost
Exactly.
most in your home. So this is an opportunity to, yes, decarbonize and do right for the environment and our grid, but
Hmm.
also for your energy usage. And the
Hmm.
products are there's more and more come in for sure.
Hmm.
So
Hello, this is Izumi Tanaka. I am a green realtor, green home consultant, and the host of this podcast, Home Green Homes. The much anticipated rebate part of the Inflation Reduction Act was finally launched in California in November. I was able to interview Anita Singha, the Senior Marketing Director for the Switches On, which is the platform for not only the IRA, but also all other financial incentives available in California for homeowners to upgrade their home appliances at deep discount. I asked Anita to explain what this rebate program, also known as HERA, is all about and how to utilize it as well as other incentives available in California. If you are not in California, you might want to check the Department of Energy website to see the availability of this program in your state. New York is another state which has already launched this program. There are several other states that are getting ready to launch around the country. If you are listening to this episode with audio only, I have the website information in the show notes for the platforms that we discuss in the interview. Also, I will have some clarifications with regards to HERA rebates at the end of the episode. Thank you so much, Anita, for joining me today.
great. I'm really pleased to be here. Thanks for inviting me, and I'm happy to talk about all things HERA and incentives.
Thank you so much. So let's dive right in. So HERA is the home energy efficiency. Or you can tell me. It's
Oh man, oh no, it's the I thought you almost had it.
I know I did have
It,
it.
it's a lovely acronym that stands for the Home Energy Efficiency Rebate something. Yeah, program.
So tell me about your role at Building Decarbonization Coalition as a senior marketing manager for particularly for this program, correct?
Yeah, so I work on all things switches on in terms, and there's a whole team of us, but my role is to make sure that I'm working with our program implementers. So that's a lot of the incentive programs
Mm-hmm,
that you see in our finder. And
mm-hmm,
the big one this year has been HERA.
mm-hmm,
So the role that we have is not only updating the website and having the right content and
mm-hmm,
making sure all of the specifications and the information that
mm-hmm,
consumers need
mm-hmm,
and contractors need are on our site,
mm-hmm,
but also doing marketing to drive traffic and awareness
mm-hmm,
to the switches on as people are going through the process of a home improvement, wanting
mm-hmm,
to look for a heat pump. This is a pretty specific audience of people in that moment of their journey. So we're always trying
mm-hmm.
to work on capturing attention at the
Right,
right time. So
right.
that's my role, always looking at switches on, getting folks so that people can see all of the rebates and incentives that can stack together and
Mm-hmm,
find that right contractor that's
mm-hmm,
specializes in heat pumps and
mm-hmm,
is a vetted professional that we
mm-hmm,
have on our site. So it's a really fun work and really focused on what we call our campaign, the switches on.
mm-hmm,
And we work all together at the BDC, at the Building Decarbonization Coalition.
mm-hmm. Thank you so much. So let's talk about this particular program, HERA. I have been talking about Inflation Reduction Act since it was enacted more than 2 years ago, and I have been anxiously waiting for this rebate part of the program to roll out. Um, I've been telling a lot of homeowners that there's going to be rebates available, and especially for low income household, you can get all these things free. And so I have been just so anxiously waiting for this moment, and it finally rolled out on November 12th last month.
last
So
month.
I think I would like to hear from you what HERA is and how it works.
Yeah, that's a great question. And this is the first phase of a lot of funding coming from the Inflation Reduction Act. So just to pause there, that was, one of the most, it was the largest climate bill ever passed. It is a
Hmm.
huge accomplishment
Hmm.
that the federal government passed this money. And then as it then the federal government started working with the states to implement these programs, California and New York being some of the first to
Hmm.
start rolling out incentives.
Hmm.
So this first rollout of incentives, it's 45 million at first for just focused on heat pump adoption as part of the energy transition in California.
Hmm.
So it is to really reduce those project costs installing a HVAC and water heater. They're not cheap projects. They require additional work that a consumer may not have realized. So the goal is to really get those costs down.
Hmm.
This time focused on low to middle income
Hmm.
qualified consumers within California with a real huge focus of that federal money really going to parts of the community, consumers that need that
Hmm.
help. And I wouldn't say it's all the way free, although it gets close to it because I don't want to,
Hmm.
misrepresent it, but it's a huge chunk of money for like HVAC, $9,500 for a single family. If they stack that with a tech incentive and they qualify, they're 80% of the area median income. So
Hmm.
all those tools to see if you qualify and if you have contractors are all available and the switch is on. This is a really
Hmm.
good place to
Hmm.
start it. So this is just
Hmm.
the first rollout. $9,500 goes a lot way to reduce those project costs.
Hmm.
And in some cases, we have heard that when a consumer is able to work and you work with your contractor on this, it gets really, could be a huge laundry list of
Hmm.
incentives. There could be local incentives from your
Hmm.
utility, water districts, other types of utilities, incentives that you can
Hmm.
stack now with this 9,500. So in
Hmm.
some cases, the cost to the project has been close to zero. It has been
Hmm.
almost free,
Hmm.
and that is working with your contractor who would know a lot about what's available out there. So
Right.
yeah, really exciting and really a huge part of California's goal to be, to reduce carbon emissions and
Hmm.
your interest to decarbonize our homes, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right, right. So my understanding is that 80% or less of area median income
Hmm.
uh, is qualified as low income household,
Correct.
and 80 to 150% is considered moderate income household,
That's right.
correct?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so then the low income household is eligible to receive up to 100% rebate, point of purchase, meaning you don't have to put out any money up front.
They get an $8,000 rebate with Hera the way it's set up
I
right now.
see. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And that goes to the contractor
Mm-hmm.
directly.
Mm-hmm.
So the contractor would come to your home and do a quote and tell you the project is, the total cost of the project, including their labor. They would apply for that incentive on behalf of the consumer. The consumer has to be pre-qualified that they are 80% AMI, right? So
Okay.
that is how this would work. They it is like, yeah, you wouldn't necessarily have to put the money. It's just like working with a contractor to see how they
Mm-hmm.
want
Mm-hmm.
that relationship of the money ahead of time or not. So it's not like a fully paid. There are programs that will get to that point, but this
Mm-hmm.
current program, the way it's set
Mm-hmm.
up, is not direct to contract,
Mm-hmm.
up to
Now,
$8,000
mm-hmm.
for the 80%, and it's 4,000 for
For
the mid income. Yeah.
mhm, moderate income. So area
Yeah.
median income, as I inquired, I understand now that it's based on the county. It's sorted
Yeah.
by county. It's not by zip code, right? So if
Right. Yeah.
your income level has to be 80 or 80% or less of the county you live in, that would qualify to
Correct.
be right? So,
There is an income verification tool that
mm-hmm,
you'll find in our incentive finder and also going to Tech Clean California that
mm-hmm,
walks the consumer through and shows, you put your paperwork in. So it's private, like the contractor doesn't see all that. All they see is that you finish that process and that you
mm-hmm,
are income
mm,
qualified. You don't have to talk to the contractor about
I
your
see,
income or anything like
I
that. They just
see.
want to know that you've done that process
Mm-hmm,
before they start the quote, and there is an official tool on the site to do that for the
mm-hmm.
consumer. So that's
Yeah.
the one part the consumer does. The contractor then sees that the consumer is qualified, and then they can begin the process.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to ask you for that exact thing of step by step what a consumer can do to get the rebate benefit. But I'm also aware that when the HERA first rolled out in California, it was first multifamily, and
Correct.
then the single family rolled out November 12th. So multifamilies are basically apartment buildings,
Mhm.
duplex, triplex, duplex and triplex would probably
Mhm.
consider single family. And in the real estate world, multi commercial building starts with five or more.
It's five or more.
How?
It's a full. It's just that's like it's not a
Mhm,
duplex. It's five or
mhm,
more
mhm,
residential use units. And
mhm.
the housing has to be for income qualified
Right,
resident as well.
right.
So,
So in
and
other,
that's the owner has to initiate that process.
so the owner of the buildings who have tenants who are qualified as low income can
Correct.
then apply for the benefit.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So how about when somebody is renting a home, single family home, and
Mhm.
is qualified as low income? Can the landlord apply for this?
For the single family incentive, they
Mm-hmm,
could. And that is a conversation that we really would love to see happen more. And there are
mm-hmm,
resources that there are some on switches on how to have that conversation. But
mm-hmm,
yes, it could go either the owner was interested
mm-hmm.
in it and started that
Right,
process, or the
right.
tenant was like, hey, did you know that you can
Yeah.
get this many? And if they are income qualified,
Mm-hmm.
and the owner has to initiate that process with the
I
contractor.
see.
Yeah.
I see. So
Yeah.
the tenant is the qualifier, and then the landlord is the one that has to initiate this process.
Yes, that's right.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
for the multifamily,
mm-hmm,
it's at least 66%. It's very
mm-hmm.
specific of occupied units at 80%
I
AMI
see. I
or
see.
moderate at 50%
I
AMI.
see. I see.
All of that information is on our site and on the Tech Clean California site.
I see. I
Yeah,
see.
all the details. So
Mm-hmm. And how about like mobile homes, like mobile home parks, where they're considered single family, and the residents who live in the structure own the home, but they may not own the land itself. Can they qualify?
that I don't want to let me confirm that. I don't want to speak off the cuff of that.
Okay. Okay. So that's the gray areas, right? Like I am finding that there are some areas that's not very clear. I had, like I said, I've been talking about this for 2 years now, right? And I'm saying, yes, homeowners, if you qualify, you can get rebates. So those are the kind of small areas that are starting to kind of come to my attention that I wanted to really to get clarified. And so if you can find out for me, I would really
I
appreciate it.
will.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do recall someone looking this up, and you're right, it's not completely totally specified.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that like the goal is to get heat pumps and decarbonize all residents within the state, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so as things roll out and as there's different communities or different
Mm-hmm.
places, I would anticipate,
Mm-hmm.
some support for those types of homes. But I don't know if it's in this program yet.
I
Yeah,
see. I
yeah.
see. So let's go back to the process. Can you please walk me through for a homeowners like myself,
Yeah.
say I am interested in taking advantage of this HERA program.
Mhm.
What does one do from step one to
Yeah.
get to? the actual installment.
I'll definitely come to the switches on. You'll come to our homepage
Mm-hmm.
where on the homepage you'll see really quickly put your zip code in to find incentives in your
Mm-hmm.
area. And
Mm-hmm.
you will see all of the incentives, including HERA, the information for that right at the
Mm-hmm.
top.
Mm-hmm.
We're still onboarding contractors
Mm-hmm.
into the system.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where people may have to wait a bit as contractors in certain zip codes become
Mm-hmm.
qualified to install.
Mm-hmm.
But you put your zip code in, you see the hero rebate information, you'll get like a little like a page of information.
Mm-hmm.
It includes
Mm-hmm.
the links to getting income qualified,
Mm-hmm.
product list. It talks about all of the details that we just described. It's
Mm-hmm.
quite detailed, so there is a lot of
Mm-hmm.
information there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would say, yes, I want to do this. Find a contractor who's qualified. And it
Mm-hmm.
would go into creating three quotes for you. So pop up
Mm-hmm.
businesses that are
Mm-hmm.
HERA qualified. That means they've gone through the tech training and they've
Mm-hmm.
done the new additional HERA
Mm-hmm.
training that's required of all contractors to do this
Mm-hmm.
work. These are
Mm-hmm.
licensed electricians and plumbers and HVAC installers. These are, licensed, vetted, and also trained through Tech Clean California to
Mm-hmm.
to take advantage of these rebates. The
Mm-hmm.
contractor is the one that would apply for the rebate.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that you do to get the rebate. You do have to use a HERA qualified contractor.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
can't use your own contractor. You can't like find someone and do it later. They do need to be in the switches on directory and be HERA.
Right.
So
Right.
that's one thing that's a specific.
Right. Now, so when someone goes to switches on page, which I have done, and put your zip code in, at what point can somebody verify that they would qualify on the income base?
Yeah, great question. We once you get into, you'll see here, there's a link in there that says income verification tool, and you would
Mm-hmm.
click. It goes to another page, another web page, and you would put all walk through. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't quite walked through all the steps of that, but it does walk the consumer through
Mm-hmm.
um, their income verification documents that are required. It tells you what's needed to
Mm-hmm.
become income verified,
Mm-hmm.
qualified. You end up with a certification or some sort like certificate that
I
is
see.
completed that you share with the contractor. It doesn't show
Mm-hmm.
your income level, it doesn't show any
Mm-hmm.
of the detail, but it
Mm-hmm.
shows the contractor you use that specific tool.
I
And that
see.
is currently on Tech Clean California as the official tool. So there's a
Mm-hmm.
couple of official things that like specific things that a consumer has to do. So that's the main action of like work and
Mm-hmm.
paperwork that a consumer has to do is really get all that paperwork to get income
Mm-hmm.
qualified and verified.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have how long it's pretty like on the spot, but it
Mm-hmm.
might take a consumer some time to gather the
Right.
W
So
or the forms that the
I
documents
see.
that are needed,
So
financial
is
doc.
it tax return or what do the homeowners have to have prepared? What
So let's just look at it. It's
mm-hmm.
here on the Tech Clean California page. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes. Yes.
You'll get a lot of the resources of all of the qualifications for your
Mm-hmm.
income.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And right off the top, before you even have to put any documents in, you can, put your county and I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, let's just make one up.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't me, but we'll just do it. So this is before you even have to do the paperwork. Let's just check annual income.
I
I
see.
see. So in
So
order
if
to
you're
receive the
if
rebate, if I have a
mm-hmm.
family of six in Fresno County, this is my
Mm-hmm.
maximum annual income for the
Mac for
low
it
income,
mm-hmm.
80% AMI,
Mm-hmm.
and this 4,000, this was how much you'd make for this household. So that's
Right.
pretty. So then you go, oh, okay, cool. I do. So let me go in here and start the process. So
Mm-hmm.
like I said, they're only available through a Tech Thing California enrolled contractor who's done the HERA
Mm-hmm.
training. And
Mm-hmm.
the folks who've done the HERA training because they have a little badge uh,
Right.
in the
Mm-hmm.
finder. So it's very clear and
Right.
you can see all that on switches on. So it
Mm-hmm.
looks like here are all the documents. We'll just go through this. I see. Yeah. It's let's look. There we
There
go.
you go.
Lots of different ways, lots of documents
Oh,
actually.
this is a old. So this is not necessarily mean that people have to have all of these, but whatever that applies to
Correct.
them. I
Yeah.
see.
Yep.
The last 12 months.
Yep.
Yes.
and all other forms of income. So
Mm-hmm.
preparing to get the HERA for a consumer, this is what it would require is kind of going through this list, preparing your
Mm-hmm.
documents, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
knowing your annual income and your household size, all that,
Mm-hmm.
and you would
Mm-hmm.
go through this process. There's quite a
Mm-hmm.
bit of options for you to put in that would qualify as paperwork to get you that qualification.
I see. I
Right?
see.
And
Yes.
then, yeah, going back here, yeah. So you'd create you like anything, you can create register account. It'll save where you are if you need to find something else to
Mm-hmm.
put in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you've completed this application and you want to get a
Mm-hmm.
heat back in the
Mm-hmm.
installation, it's well, there's questions, but you do get, I do know you get like a final like certificate or like approval
Mm-hmm. I see.
notification that you share with your
I
contractor.
see. I
Yeah.
see. So you're saying that homeowners can they should go to this page first to verify your income level or what you qualify for,
Yep,
correct?
and you will
Mm-hmm.
find that right away in the
Mm-hmm.
statewide rebate little section.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a link right here.
I
See
see.
income qualification link.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I
So that
see.
would be
I
the
see.
first step. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little bit of paperwork, but it is worth the time and money to do so because it's quite a bit of money to get. And
Yes, indeed. Uh-huh.
then they do
Yeah.
the qualification, and then the next step is they would come back to this page. Okay, I'm qualified, and we're gonna find a contractor.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you're gonna put in. Uh, let's just do, and we are going to do heat pump HVAC
Mm-hmm.
or any of these other projects that also could be part of it. But,
Mm-hmm.
and when I put in the zip code there, you can see that there's tech qualified in the zip
Mm-hmm.
area. I don't
Mm-hmm.
see any here qualified yet. So
Mm.
that is where we are in the early stages of this program. This
I
will
see.
anticipate that definitely wrapping up. These folks, these businesses here, it's a pretty quick training for them to get hero qualified, and they likely
Mm-hmm.
are in the process of doing
Mm-hmm.
that. Would see
Right. Right.
a badge here too. So
Right. Mm-hmm.
then you have the ability to get in touch with all of these. We recommend three quotes. Just get your quotes.
I
The
see.
these then get you off of the switches on, and it's now you're asking for quotes from
Mm-hmm.
the contractors, and then begins the process that we're all used to of like now you got
Mm-hmm.
to work with the contractor and
I
get the
see.
but rest assured that these are folks that have been in our system. They're
Mm-hmm.
vetted. They know about heat pumps.
Mm-hmm.
They've been certified through tech. So that would be the process.
So once someone verifies their income level for their qualification, they go to look for the contractors, and you are recommending to contact three contractors for three different quotes. And
Yep.
when the contractors receive your inquiry, you don't have to share your any information about your finances, but you just produce the certification of something
Correct.
that indicates
Yes.
your qualification level.
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
you begin that process. And then
Mm-hmm.
there was a back and forth of, yeah, looking at the pricing, seeing
Mm-hmm.
what would work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're in the process of something, the contractor will reserve funds. So it's
Mm-hmm.
one thing to know. If they may say it might take a couple months or a month or
Mm-hmm.
something going on, if
Mm-hmm.
it's not an emergency, but
Mm-hmm.
they'll reserve the funds. They'll say that, and that fund
Mm-hmm.
is held for them. So beginning the process early on is good, even if the project may take a month or 2 months. So they have a
Mm-hmm.
process where they go in and go, yep, I have a for sure a customer that's ready to do this. I'm going to
I
hold these
see.
funds, and now we're going to begin the construction process.
Mm-hmm. Now, so the contractors, are they capable of advising the customers, homeowners, if, like, say, for instance, I'm specifically going through the HERA rebate and contacting the contractor, but if depending on where you are, there might be other incentives that you can possibly stack, like you can see here. So would they be able to advise you on that? The contractors can?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is something that we communicate often with our contractors is to talk through
Mm-hmm.
stackability. We're
Mm-hmm.
working on some worksheets and more resources for consumers
Mm-hmm.
on switches on so they can just like have a
Mm-hmm.
little just being aware of what to ask contractors just helps
Mm-hmm.
that conversation because I don't, you don't install HVAC very
Yeah,
often.
I
So just giving folks
know.
that resource. But one place that both the contractor and the consumer can do their research is switches on, and then they will see all the work.
I
It's
see.
to the best benefit of the contractor to provide all
Yeah.
that information because it lowers the project cost for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so the ones that are aware of all these things and use switches on as
I
a tool
see.
are qualified to talk about doing that.
I
And
see.
they really enjoy doing that. When you
I
do a
see.
water heater, you may need to do some upgrades to your electrical
Mm-hmm.
system.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're small, sometimes they're large, and then
Right.
that's where the contractor can definitely help
Right.
um, with the recommendations of like this is the best way to move forward and to
Mm-hmm.
decarbonize and electrify your house. You're going to need
Mm-hmm.
to do these things, and I happen to know there's rebates for that too. So
Yeah.
it'll work as the ecosystem. That's why
Right.
the stackable of the HERA is so important. That's one of the best things about the rebates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I'm gonna go into some
Okay.
difficult part of this whole thing because I am very aware, for instance, where I am living right now, as I told you, is considered remote and rural. And
Hmm.
I actually personally went through this saga of replacing water heater earlier this year.
Hmm.
And number one, I had to wait for 3 weeks to get the water heater delivered, the heat
Yeah.
pump. And then number two, I had two contractors who came that I found from either Switches On or Rewiring America, and they list the heat pumps on their service. But when
Yeah.
I call to say I want to install a heat pump, one of them outright dissuaded me. They said
Hmm.
it's not, it doesn't work, blah blah. You don't have enough space, whatever. And two of the second one who came said that because I am at a higher elevation, he said that heat pump won't work because it gets too cold.
That's too
So
bad. Yeah.
I know, I know.
Yeah.
But I insisted in finding
Hmm.
the right contractor, which I found. I am very, very grateful for that. But I'm very aware that there are many trades people around, but a
Yeah.
lot of them are very small private contractors who have been around for a long time, and they probably don't even know what heat pumps are, you know? And
You're
so
right. Yeah.
I have reached out to the community, nonprofit community support organization to spread the word to the tradespeople in this area so that they get to learn, and because it could be a business opportunity for them, right?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
how are you guys doing the training of contractors? So how to really get those contractors on board? What is the effort that you are making?
Starting now, going forward, we're absolutely ramping up
Mm-hmm.
outreach and contractor education, mainly to make sure that folks know that the businesses know that the changes are going to be regulations at some point
Mm-hmm.
to get ahead of it and be an industry
Mm-hmm.
leader in this
Mm-hmm.
work. And that message really does resonate as we're doing trainings. We've been working with a couple local business coalitions. We just did some work with the Sierra Business Council, where
Mm-hmm.
the contractors there did talk about,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, people have this misconception it won't work in cold climate. We have some videos on Switches on our YouTube channel that actually
Yeah.
talk about that it does work.
Mm.
And so I think you just illustrated something that's so important, which is consumer education. Because it is a little extra work, but you did the right thing of like, I know that I want to push for this. And the more
Mm-hmm.
times that happens for a contractor, the light bulb does go off
Mm-hmm.
because then they're
Mm-hmm.
not
Mm-hmm.
ready then they're like, oh, wait, I want to make sure the next conversation I have, I am ready to talk to a consumer because those two other contractors lost your business, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like you didn't use them. So as we like to say here, it has been challenging. This is a new market transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Every 6 months, things get ramp up and more of this information is out there.
Mm-hmm.
I've even seen so
Mm-hmm.
much change.
Yeah.
So it is as the hardest of it is right now. And then the next few years, I have a lot of confidence that the consumer demand and the consumer questions and
Mm-hmm.
anyone who's listening here, right? Like the asking those questions and not feeling intimidated, coming to the places like the Switches On, other websites that have that resource to be like, no, I really want this product and I've heard about it. If it's not you as a contractor, I'm going to go to someone who is ready to install it.
Mhm.
We are definitely working to make sure that all of the contractors, we just did a huge a change to our contractor finder on Switches On, and we
Mhm.
actually will be monitoring folks even more closely to make sure that they
Mhm.
are not that consumers don't go through that process of
Yeah.
coming to Switches On. Those
Yeah.
contractors that have gone through Tech Clean
Mhm.
California do
Mhm.
know the
Mhm.
benefits of installing a heat pump.
Right.
And the fact of the matter is, your heating your home and cooling your home and heating your water are the two biggest loads to your electric bill. They cost
Exactly.
most in your home. So this is an opportunity to, yes, decarbonize and do right for the environment and our grid, but
Mhm.
also for your energy usage. And the
Mhm.
products are there's more and more come in for sure.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
contractor awareness education, what you've done is like reaching with your nonprofits. I love that. I love
Mhm.
local community. We're also working very closely with Tech Clean California next year and rolling out workforce and education to contractors. We'll have a
Mhm.
lot of those resources on our site. We have a lot of agencies working together on that very notion that it
Mhm.
is a business opportunity. These are really
Yeah.
good products.
Yeah.
And also the awareness that sometimes it does take some additional training. I went
Mhm.
to a contractor training and, these are ingenious folks that are coming up with a different way to install this and sharing that knowledge.
Mhm.
It's not out of the box sometimes. And so in Tahoe or some other places, they might have to come up with different um like solutions for
Yeah.
installing. And
Yeah.
so they do have to retrain. And the contractors that were at the training I went to were really excited after they realized that this is really the forward of my business of how to do this. So I'm fortunate for you to go through it. Your story isn't the first time I've heard that. You're
Mhm.
what we would call an early adopter, and the early
Yeah.
adopters really have a space in pushing
Mhm.
the market. And, we're getting to that place of adoption where it's
Yeah.
much more
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah.
Helps with the federal money coming in.
Yeah.
Helps that our state of California is going to protect that federal money and make sure that we are still reaching our goals. But yeah,
Important, that's an important point that I want to get back to. But before I do that, I want to ask you, so here I rolled out finally in California, right?
yeah.
So how, what are you seeing out there? Like I know that I have at least three families that I'm tracking right now that
Uh-huh.
I sent them to Switches On, and they've put in their information and they haven't heard back.
Oh, okay.
More than three weeks,
Oh, wow.
and I'm not saying that in a critical way, but I'm
Yeah.
just kind of trying to understand what's happening, actually happening, because my biggest fear, well, my biggest concern before it rolled out, as I was anxiously waiting for this to roll out, I was like, are they really ready? Like contractors ready out there? And especially where, a remote and rural area where there's not a lot of qualified
Yeah.
contractors available, it's probably harder, but that was the point, right? For this program of like having these appliances accessible to those people who are in the underserved area,
For sure.
more likely low income and more likely not as educated, maybe, and
Yeah. Or
and
needing like
it
specific solutions for heating and cooling and all those kinds
exactly,
of things. For sure.
exactly. So
Yeah.
what are you seeing right now? Is it inundated? This is system inundated, or are the contractors really getting a
We are
lot of
seeing like
inquiries?
right away, we saw, I think our web team told us like a 300% increase of
Mm,
contractors coming to our site. So that's why I know there's a pipeline of folks doing the training
mm-hmm,
and getting
mm-hmm,
on there. We're seeing that exponentially grow week by week.
mm-hmm.
And California is a huge state, right? Like
Yeah,
even
yeah,
we need more tech enrolled contractors.
exactly.
The process of going through and getting licensed in trade
Mm-hmm,
there's a long process
mm-hmm,
for that.
mm-hmm,
So I would say in my conversations, and we do have access to talking to all of our state agency partners,
mm-hmm.
workforce development is the number one area of of attention, it does make it that we have to wait for these contractors to get enrolled in your area.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think having voices like yours where you're pushing that conversation, it does help. And it is like a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of like almost your own
Mm-hmm.
personal, activism and project to get
Yeah.
that to
Yeah.
help
Yeah.
the people that you are telling to do this work. I've had the same
Mm-hmm.
conversation with my friends and then have had to help them navigate it. And like
Mm-hmm.
I said, I have seen nothing but massive amounts of just attention being paid to more contractors
Yeah.
needing
Yeah.
to be able to do this work and larger companies getting into the
Yeah.
work and doing that so that they can
Exactly.
locate it. But we're still in that growth mode, to be quite honest. And the
Mm-hmm.
hero dollars being out there, they'll be out there for a bit as the contractors are enrolling and doing it. But
Mm-hmm.
the interest is very high. It's then
Mm-hmm.
the steps of going through the process.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that leads me to the question that I was going to get to you, that I have heard that people are rushing in to apply because they are afraid that the new administration is going to kill the bill. And I know that they won't be able to kill that bill entirely, but the chance of federal government allocating more funding for this particular programs, is it at risk? And what is your take on that from where you stand?
Well, first of all, if you can rush and you can find that contractor in your area and get him or her to reserve funds and get the project rolling, great,
Mm-hmm.
great for your project, great for
Mm-hmm.
getting that incentive. So that's fine to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, California has a $450 million of money coming from IRA to the
Mm-hmm.
state. You can look on the DOE's website of the states and all the pockets of money. And there is attention being paid to it. It is a shift in administration when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Policies and bills changed, but money that's allocated to the state it can't be touched or changed from the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
This becomes a state implementation project, which
Mm-hmm.
makes all of the states in this country
Mm-hmm.
responsible for helping their
Mm-hmm.
consumers and their residents, right? So
Mm-hmm.
um, I wouldn't worry about like the money that California has actively been allocated. I do know,
Mm-hmm.
talking with Energy Commission folks, what they have said to me is that they're
Mm-hmm.
actively working and coordinating with the Department of Energy. There is urgency to make sure that
Okay.
that money is there. So that is a number one
Okay.
topic.
Mm-hmm.
But currently the HERA incentives as they are, those don't get pulled back. That money is there. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
rushing to do that and you want
Mm-hmm.
to get that and you can find a contractor, great. Like that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my concern then, the next concern is like, it sounds like it might take a month or longer for somebody to actually get system installed. So do you think that it's gonna, I mean, if so many people rush into this, is it possible that we could run out of the funding before all the people who sign up can get the
And that does
program?
happen. The incentives do run out, as we saw with Tech Clean California. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not to sugarcoat that at all.
Yeah, yeah.
I think with the additional requirements of income, that is why that was there to slow down the
Mm-hmm.
money rushing out so it goes to the right people and
Mm-hmm.
people get the time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it is taking a little time. Each week we get, 100 more contractors who are qualified to install it. Again,
Mm-hmm.
you can't do this project without a qualified contractor. So you do have
Mm-hmm.
to kind of wait for that part of it, unfortunately. I
Right.
anticipate that rapidly increasing in the months to come.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but that money, these incentives are there to like kickstart the conversation, to get
Right.
more people interested in it, get the contractors ready to do
Mm-hmm.
this work
Mm-hmm.
and change the business model. They're
Mm-hmm.
not there to be permanent, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. So they do
Mm-hmm.
run out. They do run
Mm-hmm.
out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so yeah, that is how this would work, even if the administration didn't change. People do
Right.
try to rush. Yeah. I know the income qualification is such an important part of this and it has to
Mm-hmm.
go. That's why it is
Mm-hmm.
really detailed. Put the paper, it's just you can't just
Right.
wave your hand and go,
Mm-hmm.
I'm 80% AMI. You really do
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
the detail in there
Right.
to
Mm-hmm.
make this a good project. Yeah.
So basically, the sooner the better that you
The
get
sooner the
online.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And remember there's your utilities, there are air quality districts, there's all sorts of other entities within California who will be amplifying and ramping up all sorts of other programs and incentives.
Hmm.
Doesn't
Hmm.
quiet down. So
Hmm.
there will be lots of opportunities
Right.
that I'm aware of in the
Right.
even years. So
Hmm.
that doesn't help emergency installation when someone needs to get a water.
Exactly.
That's always when we think about. There's folks trying to do really
Yeah.
creative workarounds, doing loaner programs, and
Hmm.
the contractors who are really innovative in this space are coming up with ways to do
Yeah.
measures to help folks. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited by what I'm seeing of like once the contractors get involved, the
Hmm.
ingenuity
Hmm.
and the way that they're thinking about this, like how can
Hmm.
we do this installation
Hmm.
properly? How can we do the right size for
Right.
you right now? Right? That's
Right. Right.
a good one
Hmm.
would want to do.
Hmm.
Yeah. So as soon as possible, yes. Yeah.
As soon as possible. I know here, I mean, IRA is supposed to last for 10 years since the enactment. So it's
Yeah.
supposed to go to 32, but it doesn't sound like the rebate programs may not last that long.
We never know. There's money coming into California that are going to be different types of rebate programs and
Mm-hmm.
incentives. Some of them are just very different in how they'll be approaching the work. And
Mm-hmm.
there's all sorts of changes to our fossil fuel infrastructure in California that are exciting things to come. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, there's some unknown happening, but we've gotten through this before. We will again.
Yeah.
And you know, this is just a benefit to so many businesses and
Mm-hmm.
money that I do feel like people will speak out. Like, I want the best product. I want
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
my home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and, become protected just by the nature of, consumer demand changes that.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to take
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
away,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I do have
Consumer
a
demand.
lot of confidence in
I'm
that.
working. I'm definitely working on that.
Oh gosh,
So,
yeah.
so I know that Tech Clean just announced the whole push on the heat pump. One of the families that I'm tracking on who I recommended, Hira, she went on Switch On and she wasn't interested in water heater or HVAC, but she wanted to get the heat pump dryer, clothes dryer, and
Okay.
induction stove. And she
Uh-huh.
said that it doesn't look like I can get it. So do
Mm.
you know if there is any like rollout schedule for different appliances or?
Oh, with HERA,
Mm-hmm.
yes. The state of California's HERA incentives are focused on heat pumps.
Mm-hmm.
That is the focus, but there are other incentives that may roll out that are like your local municipalities. I know for induction and dryers, but
Uh-huh.
that's TBD. I'm not going to speak to what's coming with HERA. I believe that's part of the future state. So there'll be
Mm.
more, but right now it is only for heat pumps,
Heat pump,
HVAC and water
HVAC and
heaters.
water heater.
Yeah, and
But
the focus is again because those are the biggest hit to
yeah,
your
exactly.
energy bill. Yeah,
Exactly. Hmm.
yeah.
Still, if somebody wants to have the induction and the heat pump dryer, there are some other incentives available.
Yeah, the water heater hasn't launched yet. It's coming
Mm-hmm.
up next, but the dryer and induction, you may have some local
Mm-hmm.
incentives. I know here in the territory of the utility I live in, they
Mm-hmm.
do have a discount. I also did some shopping where the utility had a discount, and then
Yeah.
Depot added in another discount on top of it to get
Mm, I
people to
see.
buy an induction stove. So I
Mm-hmm.
would definitely do some research. And if I feel really terrible that you have folks that aren't hearing back, so please send me their names and I'd be happy to find out what's going on with their inquiry.
Okay.
I know that you have advocated so strongly and your word and trust has been with your community. So I want to make sure that, yeah, I can do some
Oh my
research.
gosh, I so appreciate that. Like I said, there are many people who could really use it, and I really like it to be able to be the truth. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, yes.
so,
And also, like one thing we say is, we do talk with honesty about sometimes it isn't an easy process at first. It's getting easier and better as more and more contractors and consumers are
hmm
getting on board. We're
I
in that
agree.
like early adoption phase.
Hmm.
And maybe we're not used to that phase of new things because it hasn't been
Hmm.
this large scale of
Hmm. Yeah,
acceleration. So,
yeah.
it isn't something that we say is easy at first. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
definitely not a
Yeah,
selling point. It is
yeah.
complex and it is a
It's
big
very complex.
financial decision.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much,
Of
Anita.
course.
This
Thank
was
you.
such a lively conversation, and I have so much more that I want to talk to you about. But for this podcast interview, I thank you so much.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much. And thank you for being such an advocate for all of our work and caring
thank you
about
so
it.
much,
It's
Anita.
amazing. Thank you.
This was Izumi Tanaka with Home Green Homes podcast. Until my next show.
After the interview with Anita, I had a few more questions regarding HERA program. Here are some additional information. California State is launching the rebate program with one appliance at a time for HERA, mainly focusing on the heat pump systems. The first phase was for heat pump HVAC system, in which low-income households can get it installed for free, although the homeowners may have to cover a difference if the cost of installation exceeds $8,000. Qualified householders can apply if you live in a condo unit, 2 to 4 unit buildings, ADU or junior ADU. If you live in a mobile home, you can apply as long as you're on the foundation and not have access or license number. As we discussed, the application process may seem daunting at first, but the system will keep improving to make it easier. So the key is to get in line. Contact me if you have any questions or want to share your experience. Thank you for listening.